We finally have a good hero shooter to play. We finally have something that isn't Overwatch, something that isn't Concord, something that isn't Apex Legends, and something that isn't a basic team fighting hero shooter, 6 versus 6, 5 versus 5 trash game. And I'm done with the semester. Boom! Boom! I'm so excited. Marvel Rivals is finally out, and it is the newest addition to the gaming hemisphere of team versus team hero shooters. And I must say, this game is better than Overwatch. It is also better than Concord, hence the title. Marvel Rivals is everything that Concord isn't. Or that might be the title, I don't know yet. But regardless, Marvel Rivals came out a few days ago and I already have over 10 hours on it. I believe I have up to 12. And the game is just absolutely incredible. And we'll get into the deeper specifics in a moment. But let me just say one quick thing. I'm so happy this happened. I'm so happy that the existence of Marvel Rivals is a blessing that we get to live in this timeline. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm not the biggest fan of Marvel. I'm also not the biggest fan of 5 versus 5 or 6 versus 6 hero shooters. I'm also not the biggest fan of games like Overwatch and Concord. However, Marvel Rivals is so good and it has such a promising future, and I really hope this doesn't backfire, that I can foresee myself playing it for a long time, hundreds of hours. And before you go asking, no, this video is not sponsored. I really wish it was, but no, it's not sponsored. I usually don't do this with games or products that I like. I usually just enjoy something and I keep it to myself, but Marvel Rivals stands for something, and it stands for basically a big reverse slap in the face to the gaming community because of how polished and how potent this game really is in comparison to games like Overwatch and some games like Apex Legends and, like I already made a video about, Concord. Marvel Rivals was developed and published by NetEase Games in collaboration with Marvel Games. So this game made by NetEase, collaboration with Marvel. So a few alarm bells immediately ringing off with NetEase. They're a Chinese company that have some pretty interesting history when it comes to games and the like, but it's all right. They're passing the test with flying colors so far, so we're going to ignore the developers for now. This game was released 7 days ago on December 6th, and upon release, the game itself was free, was around 45 to 50 gigabytes, and it had 33 playable characters immediately available from launch, which is something that half of the games in its competition race aren't doing. Not only were there 33 free available characters, this game also released with every single piece of free content, and the word free will be getting used a lot more later in this video. When you think of a Marvel game, you're going to think of immediately the classic heroes. You've got Iron Man, Spider-Man, you've got Thor, Wolverine, Captain America. You're going to get a little bit more niche. Maybe you have Black Widow, maybe you have Scarlet Witch, some people from the Fantastic Four, but this game goes pretty deep into the Marvel niche. Like it goes into the comic book series a lot, and especially with its cosmetics. And we'll get into the cosmetics in, again, just a second, because oh man. And I'm going to say this now as a Psylocke main myself, those who know, you know. But some of the more relatively niche characters that I wasn't too familiar with myself until I picked up this game were characters, like I said, Psylocke, you have Jeff the Landshark, you have Magic, and before you guys go to my comments and start roasting me alive for not knowing about these characters until this game happened, like that's the whole point of this game, is to shine light on the Marvel Universe, and I'm a big fan of the Marvel Universe. I just had no idea that there was an adorable little baby Landshark that was running around, and you know, like no, it's really cute, but I had genuinely no idea that there are so many of these different types of characters, and you know, the more you know, I guess. But with the cosmetics, I will say the cosmetic system is one of my favorites I've seen. And before I get into how the currency works in this game, I just want to say that the cosmetics are purely cosmetic. There's absolutely no pay to win system in this game. And yes, it does have a battle pass, but we'll get into the non-predatory style that NetEase is doing this game's battle pass in just a moment, because I am a massive fan, and this is one of the many reasons why I'm making a video on this game, to get more people to play it, because it is genuinely amazing. Every single part of this game is amazing. Although I do have one complaint, and again, we'll get into that in a second. So let's start taking a deeper dive into this game's inner mechanisms and its mechanics, and really why I think this game is a diamond in the rough. So this game introduces you to 3 types of currency. You have lattice, units, and chrono tokens. Now, this can seem a little bit confusing at first, so bear with me. I will say now that lattice is the premium currency. Lattice is used to buy stuff like the battle pass and Oh no, scary. But immediately upon opening the game and visiting all its different shops like I did, you will see that the battle pass only costs 480 or 490 lattice, which is only $5. So that's immediately one up from games like Fortnite and Apex Legends, and also Overwatch, which is 100% this game's biggest competitor. And you can definitely feel the Overwatch in Marvel Rivals, but again, that's a topic for a different time. So Lattice is pretty self-explanatory. It is the golden coin that you see, and it is just, you know, premium currency. We've all seen it before. We all know how it smells, how it looks, blah blah blah. So units are the blue currency, and you can directly convert lattice to units with a 1-to-1 ratio. So you can do like 100 lattice to 100 units, and units are used to buy cosmetics from the store, and I believe also some other things, but I'm not entirely too familiar with it because I've only purchased myself one cosmetic. I have this weird thing with games that I like to do where if the game is free and if I like them, if I like the developers, I will spend $10 to $15 on either a starter pack or a cosmetic that I like, just to show my support and play my part. Units are used to buy some of the shop's best and most prestigious cosmetics, and I will say the cosmetics are absolutely amazing in this game. There are some characters like Hawkeye and Thor and Wolverine and Captain America, where the only cosmetic that you can purchase are cosmetics from the Marvel universe that we are familiar with. And this is the universe where, you know, you go to the movie and you see like Endgame or Infinity War or Deadpool and Wolverine. These are the cosmetics that you see in those movies. So that's a really nice little bit of attention to detail. And the other cosmetics, like personally my favorite cosmetic in the entire game so far is Magic's cosmetic, the Eldritch Armor, and they're also called costumes in game. This, along with many other cosmetics, like you have Psylocke, Venom, also a couple of Iron Man cosmetics, they are comic based. These cosmetics are lore accurate to most of their comics. So like with Psylocke, you'll see the unfortunately very revealing outfit, but it is what it is. Moving on. So far we have lattice, that is the premium currency used to purchase the battle pass and battle pass tiers. We have units, you can convert lattice to units to buy different cosmetics. And then we have chrono tokens, which are the easily available tokens that you use to unlock the different tiers of the battle pass. And you can earn these chrono tokens by completing challenges and leveling up your character, and these challenges will play a much higher role in what we're about to talk about. So far we have a relatively standard idea of a battle pass and a cosmetic shop that we've seen in countless other games before, but where Marvel Rivals succeeds is in the word free, because you can earn so many free things in this game by not spending a single dime. In this game, there are not only challenges for your character, but there are, as you would have assumed, challenges for the battle pass, and there's also an event that has a time gate attached to it, which is a little bit unfortunate, but again, it is what it is. And these events give you units, and you can use these units to buy yourself cosmetics, and you can also earn chrono tokens, which you can then unlock the battle pass from and purchase more cosmetics from. You can earn so many things from just playing the game and doing the challenges. And those challenges also serve the higher purpose of making you learn how to play different characters. But of course, to get the premium battle pass stuff, you're going to have to spend a little bit of money, but again, it's only $5. It's absolutely worth it. So now we're going to move on to the 33 free characters you get. This game is divided up into 3 sections of playable characters. You have the duelists, which are your DPS. You have the tanks, I don't know what they're called, but they're, you know, the meat shields, and then you have the strategists, which are your healers. And like every game that I play, I'm of course going to be picking DPS because I'm the kind of person who likes to float in and out of the battlefield, do a lot of damage, you know, get in and out here and there. It is what it is. But basically what I'm trying to say is that this game is a lot like Battlefield. And you might be thinking, what are you talking about? A third person 6v6 hero shooter with absolutely like no guns involved. Well, there are a couple of guns, but this game is a lot like Battlefield in the sense that every single gun in Battlefield is overpowered in its own right if the person shooting the gun knows what they're doing. So every single character in this game is incredibly overpowered. Every single character in this game, you're going to read their description and you're going to be like, how am I ever going to lose a fight in this game? And trust me, you will lose a lot. But every single character is incredibly good And so if you ever run into a person who's just objectively bad at the game, then that means that it's not their character that's bad, it's the player. There are some characters, however, who can absolutely not do as much as other characters. But again, that doesn't matter too much, because another mechanic that Marvel Rivals has that is completely unique to this game alone is something called team ups. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any examples off the top of my head, but team ups are a way of taking your character and one or more other characters on your team and basically playing together and allowing you to have another ability. For example, if I'm playing Psylocke and if one of my teammates is playing Magic, I have a time rewind ability where if I press C on my keyboard, I can go back 3 seconds in time and gain an overshield. That is a complete game changer in a massive team fight. And another really cool thing that team ups do is that they also reference a lot of things from comics. Like there's a very arguably one of the most iconic Hulk and Wolverine moments where Hulk throws Wolverine, and you can do this in Marvel Rivals. If your teammate's playing Hulk and you're playing Wolverine, Hulk will literally pick up Wolverine and throw him at the enemy like a fastball. It's insane, and it's so funny, and I love it. I know I've been talking a lot about how the game works and the different characters and the different systems, so let's go on to what the game offers. So this game is, of course, a 6 versus 6 hero shooter, so no more, no less, which it makes it's pretty self-explanatory. It also offers a competitive mode where any single rank after gold, you get a really cool Moon Knight skin, which I am a huge fan of, and I'm actually very inclined to play ranked. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not too big of a fan of ranked games. And giving your player base an incentive to actually grind out ranked, at least until you hit gold, just for that really good Moon Knight skin, is a very good idea. This game offers game modes like capture the point area, move the payload, blah blah. You've seen it all before with Overwatch, which now I think it's time that I get into the little nitty gritty of this game. I did say earlier that it was almost perfect, but I use the keyword almost because there are a couple of short sides with this game. This first downside that I'm going to talk about isn't really a downside at all, actually. You don't have time to get up and move around and use the restroom in between games. If you're playing with a group of friends and you have your party leader who's like a queue monster, who's just going to keep queuing after every single game ends, you're literally going to just start walking toward the restroom, turn around, and you're already in another game. What I'm trying to say is that the queue times for this game are so fast. Literally, most of the time whenever I press the play again button, it just instantly puts me into another game, which is crazy. That is not only a feat about how many people are playing the game, it is also just a way of recognizing how good the servers are, because like I mentioned earlier, the servers were down for roughly 5 to 10 minutes after the game released, but they were immediately playable after, and there were still so many people trying to get into the game, and they were like, the game was immediately playable. So NetEase did an amazing job with the servers. What I will say though, this game is basically Overwatch. I'm just going to put that out right now. It is, in my opinion, a better Overwatch, and big fans of Overwatch will, of course, tell you the opposite. But this game is so much like Overwatch, and there are so many characters in Marvel Rivals that if you're familiar with Overwatch, you can immediately tell what character they're trying to imitate. Black Widow is obviously Widowmaker, Magneto is obviously Sigma, and Psylocke is the closest thing we have to Genji, and Hawkeye is the closest thing we have to Hanzo. It's like even the names kind of match up, which I know isn't intentional. I know it's like what their names are, but the characters themselves are extremely similar, which again isn't really a bad thing, because it's not the way that Overwatch is structured, it's not the way it looks, it's not the way it plays. It's just that Overwatch sucks, and so does Blizzard. Blizzard really sucks. And I'm not saying NetEase is any better than Blizzard, but Marvel Rivals is a really damn good game. One thing that Marvel Rivals does worse than Overwatch, however, is that Overwatch has something called role queue. Now, when you go into a game of Overwatch, you need to either select a healer, a tank, or a DPS position for you to play for your team. And that automatically puts you in a game where you fit in with the other roles that have been selected by other players in your region. Marvel Rivals does not have that, so like myself, if I'm a duelist, if I want to play with a random team, then they're going to have most likely 3 or 4 other duelists, which makes an uneven team composition. Now, as I said earlier, every single character in Marvel Rivals is overpowered in their own right, and it really depends on the player to make a difference for the team. This actually counteracts the issue that I literally just talked about, because if you have a team composition of entirely all healers that can absolutely win a game against 6 DPS or 6 tanks, it is 100% possible. It just depends on the team. Is it smart?
No. But the way Marvel Rivals is designed is that one character can't carry a team. There are some objective metas, like Hela is objectively one of the best characters in Marvel Rivals in the game if you have good aim, but that's if you have good aim. And again, characters who are objectively trash like Wolverine and Black Widow can be really, really good and can be game changers if the person playing them knows what they're doing. I will say one quick thing as well. Marvel Rivals is one of the best optimized games I've ever played on launch. I've experienced no lag. I do have a 4070 Super in my computer, so that's pretty good, but I've experienced 144 frames a second, no lag, no server lag, no rubber banding, no any of that. It is absolutely amazing. And the game looks really good. There are no obvious graphical bugs, there's no frame glitches, there's none of that. It's really, really nice. I know I've been recording for a long time, but it really makes me happy to finally have a video game that I can make this kind of video about. And in complete opposition to Concord, this game actually is fun. It is free, like Concord should have been, but it still also would have failed. This game is just incredible. Go play Marvel Rivals right now, please, please, please. And thank you guys so much for all of the support recently. I have almost 3,000 subscribers, and I honestly never would have expected I would have made it this far. And just so you guys know, I'm not stopping anytime soon, and I promise one day that my content is going to be some of the best you've ever watched. But I'm still in the learning stages for now. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me through all the times and turmoils and whatever kind of breaks I might need. Thank you again. And for now, stay safe.